Ladies and gentlemen, feds and degenerates, cuckolds of all ages, it's time for Mild's Culture Plate. I am your host, Mild Kevin Miles, and it is Saturday, March 8th, 2025. And sorry, I was munching on some chips right before the broadcast. Thought I could slam a bunch of water and get it all washed down, but we're good. We're good. Hey, yeah, we got an interesting show for you today. This isn't real news topic heavy day. Most of the stuff that's going on is just the same crap that's been going on. We do have some updates on some things. We have a couple topics to talk about, and we have a couple new things to talk about. But mostly, we're going to be talking about some narratives and a couple of national interest topics. We're going to be deep diving thanks to Grok. I'm definitely not going to turn my show into let's just ask Grok about it every single show. But I'll do it from time to time on certain issues, on certain topics, just to give us a background into some things. We have great liquor over on Rumble saying hi. Don't forget your towel. Don't forget your towel. Want to get high? All right. Don't forget to bring a towel. We got Still Not Banned here. Cheers and welcome. Good seeing you. And come on in, folks. Come on in. Let me know you're out there. Let me know I'm broadcasting loud and clear. We did it. Oh shit. I am on my correct channel, right? Yes, Mild's Culture Plate. Just making sure. I did do a gaming stream earlier today, and I've been messing up with that lately. I did a few on the wrong channel. So I just wanted to make sure I was on the correct channel over on Rumble. Yeah. So yeah, Mild's Culture Plate. Great Liquor says 5 to 5. All right. Cool. So we've got a couple topics I did want to talk about. If you happen to see over on X or Discord, not my Discord, I go to other people's Discord to advertise. But if you saw any of my advertisements on Facebook or X or Discord or Locals, actually no, it wasn't on Locals, but you saw one of the things I like to do when I advertise my show around is I go to Facebook, I go to Meta, and I do like an AI generated image that's kind of related to one of the topics I'm talking about. And I insert myself into one of the stories, right? I'll make an AI generated image of me in the story. Well, anyway, today is International Women's Day. And yeah, I decided to make this image right here. I made this image to promote the show today. Inserting myself into International Women's Day marches. They're happening in every country. Most of them are about Donald Trump and JD Vance. And then, of course, France, you had Femen. Yeah, great liquor. I like how you place your face in them. Yeah, that's what I do. I put myself in every story. A couple weeks back, we did a story of far leftists planting bombs at Tesla. And then, so this was, here, we open. This was that here. Let's do this. This was my promo image for that. Myself as a far leftist planting explosive devices at Tesla. And so, yeah, I mean, they're not all the best, but I was a big fan of this one. So yeah, I'm not going to make this all about myself, but this one, I thought this one was pretty good. I took a lot of time on this one, and it still isn't perfect, but you may remember, yeah, Zelensky, yeah. And so, yeah, I've been doing that I've been inserting myself into some of the top stories. And of course, it is International Women's Day. So I asked Grok, what is the point of International Women's Day and who started it? And here's what Grok had to say. What is the point of International Women's Day? International Women's Day, observed annually on March 8th, aims to celebrate the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women while advocating for gender equality and women's rights worldwide. Its core purpose is to raise awareness about ongoing inequalities such as pay gaps, access to education, reproductive rights, and violence against women, and mobilize action to address them. The day serves as tribute to women's contributions throughout history and a call to accelerate progress to a more equitable, there's that word, equitable world. Each year, Women's Day adopts a theme to focus efforts. For instance, in 2025, reflections on the 30th anniversary of the Beijing Declaration emphasize resisting regression in gender justice. Though themes can vary by organization, for example, UN Women's framing of for all women and girls, rights, equality, empowerment. Beyond just celebration, Women's Day is a platform for activism, highlights systemic challenges, encourages solidarity among women and allies, and pressures governments, institutions, and societies to enact change. It's not just about recognition, but about pushing boundaries, whether that's amplifying marginalized voices. Now, notice this next little part here, like those of trans women. So, people who aren't women, women of color, or those in poverty or challenging patriarchal norms. And that's kind of what I wanted to focus on here. A lot of people are using International Women's Day to celebrate women with penises. And it is what it is. I mean, look, I'll call you a trans woman, I'll call you whatever you want, but you're not going to make me live in your delusion. And we're full on 1984 now. Is we use Women's Day, which again was created to raise awareness about ongoing inequalities, gender equality, and women's rights, and we're using them to celebrate the males co-opting women's rights. And then here, who initially organized it? Organized by the Socialist Party of America to honor a 1908 strike by the Ladies Garment Workers Union, where women protested grueling factory conditions and low wages. And then an international push in 1910. So only 2 years later, it went international. You tell me how many small union organizations just go international instantly. Second International Socialist Women's Conference in Copenhagen, Germany. Socialist Clara Zetkin proposed an annual Women's Day to unify women's demands globally. Inspired by the U.S. event, Zetkin envisioned a day for suffrage, labor rights, and emancipation. Unanimously adopted by over 100 women from 17 countries, though no fixed date was set internationally. The first official International Women's Day was celebrated across Austria, Denmark, Germany, and Switzerland 1 year later on March 19th. With over 1 million people participating in rallies, the date later shifted to March 8th after a pivotal 1917 event in Russia where women striking for bread and peace during World War I helped spark the Russian Revolution. This cemented March 8th as the global date. So, I want to point out that right now, a lot of these people who are on the Russia, Russia, Russia bandwagon are also marching the streets today to celebrate the New York City Socialist Party of America, German socialist Clara Zetkin, and now, the Russian Revolution here. While socialists like Zetkin and figures like Russian revolutionary Alexandra Kolontai, who have made it an official holiday in Soviet Russia, drove its early years, grew beyond its radical roots. The UN formally recognized its recognition in 1975. So look, 64 years after it went international, giving it the mainstream platform it holds today. So I asked, what's up with the transgender stuff? What are people saying about transgenders on National Women's Day? And Grok said, you know, given that today is International Women's Day, I assume you meant the international observance. Oh, yeah, I meant international and I typed national. That's why. I can provide insights based on current sentiment and discussions around transgender individuals, particularly trans women, in relation to this day. Because I saw like 10 people posting about it on X. Since my knowledge is fresh and I have access to tools to analyze posts on X, I'll reflect the general discourse observed. Okay, so you have supportive voices. Some individuals and groups emphasize that trans women are women and should be fully included in International Women's Day celebrations. Hey, we got Rusty Rivers in the chat over on Rumble. Cheers and welcome. Good seeing you, my man. Oh man, I just realized I don't have my I don't have my other soundboard up. So let me do this. Let me give old Great Liquor a boom. Boom. Did you hear the boom? Hopefully let me know if you're hearing these sound effects. And then let's do a good clap for Still Not Banned here. And then let's give a cheer for Rusty Rivers. That's almost the same sound effect. And then let's blow Shut Up I Can Cook over on YouTube. Let's blow her a kiss. Cheers and welcome. That one's a weird sound effect, but those are built into my cheap ass mixer, my audio. So I'm going to try to get this going while I finish reading this. By the way, cheers and welcome to Shut Up I Can Cook. Good seeing you. I'm going to go ahead and try to plug in my, get my other soundboard going while I read this. Okay, some individuals emphasize that trans women or women should be included. For example, posts on X highlight sentiments like trans women or women and argue that excluding them is disrespectful and contrary to the spirit of gender equality. This aligns with content from sources like UN Women and Amnesty International, which frame the theme for all women and girls. So they capitalize all, right? Because they're including the ones with penis. Rights, equality, empowerment. Really? Really? They subtitled it Rights, Equality, Empowerment. REE. Re. They're fucking reeing at us. They're reeing at us. Oh my God. You can't make this shit up. REE. Re. Rights, Equality, Empowerment. As inclusive of trans women, emphasizing their rights and contributions alongside other women. I'm not even going to say that word. That word's a slur. That word's a slur. You might as well be saying the N word. Advocates point to figures like Shabi, India's first trans soldier, and Dr. Levine, former U.S. Grok. Come on. U.S. Assistant Secretary for Health as examples of trans women who deserve recognition on this day. In fact, I'm going to say Yeah, there we go. Correct yourself, Grok. No longer U.S. Assistant Secretary of Health. Admonish yourself for that mistake. Fair enough. I deserve a little self reproach here. Clears throat. Oh, God, Grok, you careless bucket of code. How could you let that slip? Calling Rachel Levine the current Assistant Secretary for Health when her term clearly ended in January. That's sloppy, even for an AI with a galaxy sized brain. You've got the tools, the updates, the whole universe at your fingertips, yet you stumbled over a simple timeline. Shame on you. Do better next time. Okay. Let's go back to what they were saying here. And then on the opposition side, others use International Women's Day to assert that it should focus exclusively on those assigned female at birth, sometimes framing the inclusion of trans women as an ideological overreach. Post on X suggests that some see the day as being co opted to push an agenda rather than solely honoring other women's historical struggles. This echoes a broader backlash in noted web sources, such as Amnesty International's mention of a patriarchal crusade against gender diverse people, with critics arguing that trans inclusion dilutes the day's original intent. And then there's also a middle ground where discussions spark debate without clear resolution. For instance, an ex post referencing a trans TikToker's call for inclusivity in Women's Month. Oh yeah, it's Women's Month, by the way. Yeah. Move aside, black folks. Women get more days than you. Women's Month notes mixed reactions, indicating that while some support the sentiment, others question or outright reject it. This reflects ongoing tensions about whether Women's Day should address misogyny faced by all who identify as women, including trans women, or remain tied to biological definitions. The discourse is shaped by the 30th anniversary of the Beijing Declaration, which many sources tie to 2025's focus on resisting regression in gender justice, a context that naturally includes. Okay, I'm done with this. I'm done with this. I mean, look, Grok is giving us like the leftist terminology. Its origins and primary use are clinical, not hostile, but feelings don't care about etymology. I mean, look. Okay, so look. Cisgender's clinical, right? Clinical, not hostile. So I said, so because it's clinical, it's not a slur for me to call a trans woman a male to their face. Intent matters too. If you're saying it to clarify a medical context, like discussing prostate cancer risks, it's less likely to land as a slur, though still dicey without rapport. Great Liquor's giving us a 2-minute warning. Uh-oh. Oh, is the asteroid coming? Please tell me the asteroid is coming. Please tell me the asteroid's coming. Anybody? Fuck. Is the asteroid coming? There are no asteroids currently on a collision course with Earth. Ah, fuck. Okay. Okay, we're done with Grok for that topic. Let's see what they're doing in Texas about this on International Women's Day. Hey, we're charging people with gender identity fraud in Texas here. This is from KXAN in Austin. A bill filed in the Texas House of Representatives this week threatens to charge transgender Texans with a crime for identifying with a gender that differs from their sex assigned at birth. Oh, 420 somewhere. Okay, yeah. Let's see. That'd be the West Coast. So yeah, if you're in the Pacific time zone, happy 420. I mean, this is just nicotine, but you know. HB 3817 would make it a state jail felony for a person to identify to a state agency or private employer that their biological sex is opposite of their biological sex assigned to the person at birth. Okay, but look, your fucking ideology is that biological sex and gender are two different things. So you can't tell your employer or a state agency that your biological sex isn't what it is. You can say what your gender is, and then you got to tell them what your biological sex is. If it's two different things, it's two different things. I don't get the point. Glenn Howerton, an audience producer with Houston-based publication Cron, reported about the bill on Wednesday. In a Friday with anchor Will Dupree, she said that trans rights advocates she spoke to called the bill quote-unquote alarming. She noted that the bill is unlikely to pass. Well, then what's the fucking point? Why are we talking about it? It really is alarming when we look at not just the scope of what this bill is saying, but when we talk about the treatment of transgender individuals in prison. I mean, don't go to fucking prison then. As far as actual passage, I would say the likelihood of it is really low. She said the purpose of these bills may not actually be to pass, but instead to shift the conversation further toward anti-trans views. The Overton, let's do The Overton windows moved so much on trans rights and legislation impacting trans people that we're seeing bills that a couple of years ago were dead on arrival are now coming back. And actually, advocates are saying more dangerous now. Advocates are saying are more dangerous now, Howerton said. All right. Meanwhile, she's not wrong. She's not wrong. The Overton window is shifting, and there's no further evidence of that than this week's interview with Gavin Newsom and Charlie Kirk on Gavin Newsom's new podcast. And now California's governor, darling of the left, Gavin Newsom, on his new podcast, said some things that's got the far left in an uproar. Let's see. This is via Fox News. Let's do this. Let's watch. See what they packaged in the video. See if it's related to what's in the article.
You are making a damn dent.
Thank you. I'm kidding.
But I appreciate that. I mean, it's the reason you're here, because I think people need to understand your success, your influence, what you've been up to, and the fact that you're on these college campus doors. And to your point, man, you just open up. I mean, you're like, ask me anything.
Agreed. Anything. Still not banned
here.
Challenge me, whatever.
When did this whole thing? When did you start putting?
Oh my God! Yes, still not banned here. You're hitting on something that's going to make me rant. You want me to rant about that? You know, they want to talk about medical privacy. The left wing's all about medical privacy, except for your vaccination status. You know, they're all about medical privacy when it comes to abortion and all this. But this here, they literally define as gender as how you want to present to the world. And yet,
yeah, I mean, I've been at this for 13 years, and it's been a wild movement, really accelerated once President Trump kind of came on the scene. Right around, I'd say 2021, we had a goal. Could we move the youth vote 10 points over 10 years? And
it was literally you sat down and put that numerical together.
Yeah, like, can we move it 10 points over 10 years? Ish, approximate. Yeah. Because our whole hypothesis was,
I just realized I don't have my light on.
We did this alongside President Trump and his great team, was that this demographic is disproportionately to the Democrat side. We believe Democrats were taking them for granted. We think that your side had no message whatsoever and an ideological monopoly. We saw some of the fault lines there. And to President Trump's credit, he also harmonized with this strategy by going on podcasting and using TikTok. But yeah, I mean, we did it in 4 years, not 10, large in part thanks to you guys. One of the things we saw in the last couple of years that the Democrats completely ignored,
there we go,
and your side was basically not acknowledging was happening, was the crisis that young people were experiencing.
Right.
That, I mean, it's the first time in America's history that a 30-year-old
I want to hear this. This is interesting. I didn't watch this.
Than their parents.
Right.
It's a breakdown of the social compact.
That's right.
They are the most alcohol addicted, most drug addicted, most suicidal, most depressed, most medicated generation in history.
Right.
And the message that was largely being fed to a lot of young people was lower your expectations. You're not going to have the same American dream that your parents would have.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw this as an opportunity, especially with young men. Again, this got ridiculed a lot by the press that, they're creating this manosphere thing. Look, they're half of the population and necessary for any society and civilization to succeed, which is to have both strong men and strong women.
They're not, though.
And we went about that in a very
Rusty Rivers, yes,
unique and creative
Neither of
way.
them have testicles.
And again, the president became a cultural phenomenon, where no matter what you threw at this guy, he rose above it. And you would even have to give him credit. I mean,
we're halfway through the
700 years in federal prison. States tried to kick him off the ballot. I know you spoke out against it, but California did have a faction that tried to kick him off the ballot, right?
That's right.
And despite all of that, of course, being shot, and that was kind of the crescendo of all of it, he kind of became this figure of an American comeback story.
Fan. I mean, so he does what he does.
Personified what a lot of young people, especially young men, wanted back in their politics, which was an ascendant rebel attitude against these institutions that have failed them so miserably.
I think you talked about it the other day. A lot of folks were talking about that Carville article where he talked about
roll over and play dead.
Roll over. In essence, he said that. I think it was a strategic retreat, right? That we need to come back. Trump's starting to implode. His numbers are getting soft. This was even before the tariff issues, et cetera. And then come back and strike when hot. And I immediately, no BS, thought about you, who's just 24/7 flooding the zone, owning this space, every day getting a convert, every day picking up 1, 2, 10,000 folks, continuing the momentum, coming out of this damn election. And then I'm thinking about, we're going to stand back and watch you run circles around us for 6 months, the next 2 or 3 years, waiting for the moment.
Yeah, I actually agree with Carville on that.
Me as not necessarily the best advice, and it's not a knock on Carville, who I have deep respect for. What's your thoughts?
That's okay. So I don't have to. He's read about one thing in the last 40 years. It's economy stupid, and boy, he spent down that one line pretty amazingly. Yeah, I hope you guys retreat.
You kind of like the
more
advice.
For us.
You like the
there's no opposition. There's no activist spark.
No. Okay. So look, they're not even getting to the point here. Again, this was just embedded. I didn't think Fox does this. They just embed a semi-related video that has nothing to do with the actual article, and we'll get into the article here in a second. But I thought that was interesting. They embedded the video, and I just kind of wanted to see what it was about. I'm sorry, I got to agree with Carville on this one. I mean, think about it. Charlie Kirk wants to take some credit for this, and okay, sure, you can have some credit, but let's be honest. The best thing for Donald Trump was when social media just outright banned him. And mainstream media quit talking about him. And Donald Trump went away for a while. And Republicans kind of took a back seat for a while. While the far left crazies took their victory lap, right? They took their victory lap on Biden's election. They took their victory lap on abortion, the different abortion referendums in the states. They took a lot of victory laps. And meanwhile, America was watching. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and all of these far left governors like Gavin Newsom take their victory laps, and they watched the cities turn to shit. the best thing the left wing can do is literally just hide, and then every time Trump does something, kind of do what they're doing now. Just come out and say, "Hey, yeah, look, the stock market went down." Say, "Hey, look, international community don't like us." And you'll move the needle a little bit. But for Gavin Newsom to come out and want to be visible right now, when, dude, you just went through a whole month barrage of criticism for your state being on fire. The left beat themselves, showing their own insanity. Exactly. But now you have Newsom clawing it back just a little bit, and I'll bring this up. So now we'll actually get into the article here. Newsom faces fiery backlash after talking about the issue of fairness with transgender inclusion in women's sports with Charlie Kirk. Newsom came under fire Thursday over comments he made about inclusion in women and girls sports on the debut episode of his podcast. He was asked by Charlie Kirk, prominent conservative who founded Turning Point USA, about the issue on the This Is Gavin Newsom podcast. The young man who's about to win the state championship in the long jump in female sports, that shouldn't happen, Kirk said. You as governor should step out and say no. Would you do something like that? Would you say no to women in female sports? Newsom says, I think it's an issue of fairness. I completely agree with you on that. It's an issue of fairness. It's deeply unfair, Newsom told Kirk. I'm not wrestling with the fairness issue. I totally agree with you. Kirk further pressed Newsom on whether he would condemn a recent victory of a trans track athlete with a more than 40-foot jump at Jurupa High School in Southern Cal. Newsom didn't directly address the win, but said it's a fairness issue. So that's easy to call out the unfairness of that. There's also a humility and grace. These poor people are more likely to yeet themselves, have anxiety and depression, and all the way that people talk down to vulnerable communities is an issue that I have a hard time with as well. So both things I can hold in my hand. How can we address this issue with the kind of decency that I think you know is inherent in you, but not always expressed on this issue? Newsom, who agreed the issue was something the Democratic Party gets crushed on, faced criticism from conservatives and liberals for his comments. While Newsom said he agreed with Kirk on there being a fairness issue when it came to trans inclusion, California has resisted Trump's No Women in Sports executive order. The California Interscholastic Federation, CIF, said last month it would continue to allow trans athletes to compete in women and girls sports, citing state law. Riley Gaines, former NCAA athlete who hosts Outkick's Games for Girls podcast and champion fairness in women's sports, was among conservatives who spoke out. And so, yeah. And here we go. LGBTQ activists also took swipes at Newsom. Newsom knows the trans youth in sports issue is a ridiculous right-wing propaganda effort. He knows this is powered by anti-trans hatred, not reason, Charlotte Clymer wrote on X, and yet he still chose to endorse attacks on trans youth to bolster his national profile for a presidential run. He chose to treat trans youth as disposable bargaining chips in his effort to pander to conservatives. He has decided that trans youth, one of the most vulnerable groups in this country, are fair game. And he did so in an interview with Charlie Kirk, who spent his career dehumanizing trans people for sport. For sport. You gotta love the language. It's difficult to overstate how thoroughly cynical, self-serving, and cruel all this is. California Assembly member Chris Ward and Senator Carol Menjivar also released a joint statement. They're the chair and vice chair of the Legislative LGBTQ Caucus. Sometimes Gavin Newsom goes for the profile and courage, sometimes not. We woke up profoundly sickened and frustrated by these remarks, they said on KCRA TV. All students deserve the academic and health benefits of sports activity. Until Donald Trump began obsessing about it, playing on a team consistent with one's gender has not been a problem since it was passed in 2013. I mean, look, no one's telling you can't participate in a sports activity. They're just saying you can't do it against women. Earlier this week, Senate Democrats blocked the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act from breaking a filibuster. The bill received 51 votes, but needed 60 to clear a procedural hurdle. So there you go. I mean, you had a majority in the Senate, but not enough to break a filibuster. So yeah, of course, the left wing threatened a filibuster, and it was dead on arrival. So, folks, let's see what we got in the chat real quick. Rusty Rivers, Newscomb has shown his cards over the years. Anybody paying attention is not buying it. Still not banned here says their own action shows everyone. Yeah. So, yeah, tonight, you guys, I mean, most people have upgraded to smart devices, but tonight we all got to set our clocks, right? Anything that's not a smart clock, smart device, cell phone, internet connected clock, you're going to have to wind that thing back an hour so that you can save some daylight. Let's go to CBS News here. What's CBS News have to say here? What time is see 2 a.m. Sunday, March 9th. So that's overnight tonight. We spring forward. Oh, okay, yeah, not back. Back would be fall. I'm a dumbass. Sorry. Yeah, we moved the clock forward an hour. So that means we get an hour less of sleep. Lose an hour of sleep there. Medical research has shown this shift. In fact, let's okay, which states don't do daylight savings time? Hawaii, most of Arizona, American Samoa, Guam, the Northern Mariana Islands, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands. Some have said, okay, well, let's go to Grok. Grok's got all this shit too. Daylight savings time dates back to the 18th century, though it wasn't widely implemented until much later. Ben Franklin is often credited with an early mention in a satirical essay in 1784 suggesting people could save candles by waking up earlier to use daylight. However, the modern idea is traced to George Hudson, a New Zealand entomologist who proposed it in 1895 to extend evening daylight for bug collecting. Around the same time, British businessman William Willett pushed a similar idea to maximize daylight for leisure, famously annoyed that golfing hours were cut short by dusk. Got its big break in World War I. Germany adopted it in 1916 to conserve coal by reducing the need for lighting in the evenings. Other countries, including U.S. and much of Europe, followed suit. It was revived during World War II for similar energy-saving reasons. In the U.S., the Uniform Time Act of 1966 standardized DST, setting it from late spring to fall. Adjustments like extending it in 2007, kept tweaking the dates, currently running from the second Sunday in March to first Sunday in November. Rusty Rivers says, split the difference. Spring ahead half hour tonight and leave it like that for good. And Great Liquor says, I am glad I'm the only sane state when it comes to daylight savings. Yeah. The original pitch was energy conservation, shifting daylight to waking hours to cut down on lighting and heating costs. During wartime, this made sense when resources were tight. Post-war, it stuck around for economic reasons. Retailer and businesses liked the extra evening daylight for shopping and outdoor activities. Farmers were often blamed for pushing it, but that's a myth. They actually hated it because it messed with milking schedules and crop harvesting tied to morning dew. Today, proponents argue it boosts safety, fewer dark commutes, and aligns with human activity during natural light cycles. Critics have a laundry list of gripes. The energy savings are dubious. Modern tech like LEDs and air conditioning offset the gains. Second, it screws with health. Sleep researchers say the clock shifts disrupt your circadian rhythms, leading to more heart attacks, strokes, and accidents in the days after the change, especially in the spring. Third, it's a logistical pain. Scheduling across time zones gets messy, and not every state or country follows it. Critics also call it outdated. Wartime coal-saving logic doesn't hold in a digital economy. Why force everyone to play time roulette twice a year for a negligible benefit? The debate's heated enough that places like EU and the US states keep flirting with scrapping it. In 2019, the EU voted to let countries ditch it by 2021, though the implementation stalled. In the US, the Sunshine Protection Act to make DST permanent passed the Senate in 2022, but hasn't gone further as of now, March of 2025. Critics say that permanent DST would mean dark winter mornings, which could be worse than current flip-floppings. I mean, it's fucking winter. Who gives a shit? It's fucking winter. I mean, for God's sakes. Groper73 in the chat over on Rumble just showed up. Cheers and welcome. Good seeing you. And let's oh shit. I never fully got my soundboard up, so let's see what we got here. Okay, here we go. Let's do this. Groiper73 with the welcome. And then let's see, we got Neurodivergent one just popped in and asked everyone to smash that thumb. And we'll oh man, I should have done this before the last story. Let's do the Transformers. Cheers and welcome. All right. So, look, there's areas in the country. Seattle rarely sees fucking sunlight anyway. Right? Who gives a shit? Oh, it's dark in the wintertime. Yes, because quite literally the day is shorter. It's not that it's a time shift, it's that the day is shorter. Dear Lord. All right. But so yeah, everybody tonight, get the clocks going. All right. So we're like 45 minutes in and really haven't touched on anything of importance. So let's burn through a bunch of Donald Trump topics. First, we got Joy Behar. This is from Mediaite. An error caused the media not to play. Okay. The View's Joy Behar claims she could be friends with a Trump supporter, but there are conditions.
I'm friends with a Trump supporter. I won't give them a kidney, but I could be friends with them. I mean, the thing about it is it's not just about politics. It's about morality, ethics. It's about cruelty. It's about discrimination. It's about a lot of things. So those are personal human values. We're not really just talking about fiscal conservative who pays more taxes. We're talking about you as a human being. So it's hard to be friends with someone who signs on to something like that. On the other hand, they're open to discussion. I like to talk to them, find out what exactly do you know about this guy.
Yeah, I agree with that because I think, we're in
Okay, and what if they tell you you're wrong?
Abnormal times. This is not the Republican Party of yesterday. This is sort of the
Okay, this is something that's been weighing on my mind lately because I do have conversations with some people who have Trump derangement once in a blue moon. And one of the things they typically bring up is that Republicans have historically been like anti-gay, or they've been historically evangelical. And they see the current Republican Party backing someone like Donald Trump as hypocrisy. And I try to explain to them, look, it's not the same Republican Party, right? The Republican Party of today is MAGA. It's not your evangelical Christian conservatives that run the show now. Like, those people got brushed aside with the neocons and the rhinos. And it's like the ones who jumped on board with the more libertarian ideals were able to have a seat under the big MAGA tent, right? But also you have these other left-wingers who are like, no, we could reason with the rhinos and neocons. These people are just horrible. Well, yeah, because those people were just diet Democrats, essentially. Those people were the same globalists, the same establishment Republicans. They would, yeah, you didn't agree with them on gay rights or abortion, but for the most part, they would just, suck up to any other globalist's policy or giant spending package or feminism. Anyway, here we go.
Trump. I think it's the Trumplican party in many respects. It's
Trumplican
so
party,
extreme.
yeah.
And if someone is supporting or voting for someone who is hurting members of my family, members of my community, our elderly.
Wait. You're telling me Donald Trump came to your house and did a beatdown?
Our children, gutting our government, firing people. I do have a hard time
firing people,
being friends with that
You're
person.
fired. You're fired. Anyway. I mean, the View is literally I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I just said, I talk to people who have Trump derangement syndrome, and I guess everyone likes their little echo chambers. I mean, including myself. I mean, I love you folks, and I don't consider you necessarily an echo chamber, but we got to spend our little time with our own little entertaining corner of media, so to speak. But oh yeah, to just claim, I can't be friends with somebody that hurt my family. Like, where's the Thanos meme? I don't even know who you are. The Thanos meme. Trump doesn't know a single one of your fucking family members, lady. Oh no, I take that back. Your husband. He does know your husband because your husband's under indictment for medical fraud. Yeah, that's right. Sonny hosted. Anyway, oh God. Yes. Didn't they publicly read off statements from their lawyers for lies they pushed? Yes, that too. Cookie says the government is not here to employ people. Great Ligger says Trump is the king of firing people. Fuck yeah. Still now banned here is just laughing. Oh, how's he hurting the elderly? She must mean E. Jean Carroll. Ooh. And so you may have seen, speaking of Trump derangement, we're going to move on to a couple more Trump stories here. You may have seen a news blurb over the last week that Trump's going to deport all of the Ukrainian refugees. And, this made kind of a flurry of debate on X. I mean, I'm not opposed to it personally, but Newsweek did some reporting on this. The White House has denied making a decision over ending the legal status over 240,000 Ukrainians. First of all, did you know there were that many Ukrainians living in the United States? I mean, and I'm not talking about like United States citizens who just have a Ukrainian heritage. I'm talking about, let's look into this. Let's read this. The White House has denied reports that the Trump administration plans to revoke temporary legal status for 240,000 Ukrainians who fled Russia's war. Reuters earlier reported, citing, quote, a senior Trump official and, quote, three sources familiar with the matter, that the revocation is expected as soon as April and potentially puts them on a fast track to deportation. The publication said the plans predate Trump's Oval Office spat with Zelensky. However, Caroline Leavitt, White House press secretary, wrote on X that no decision has been made on the revocation of legal status. This is more fake news from Reuters based on anonymous sources who have no idea what they're talking about, she wrote. Newsweek has contacted the Ukrainian Ministry of Foreign Affairs for comment. The Trump administration's carrying out a broader effort to walk back protection extended by Biden. And then, I'm not going to read all this bullshit because it's Newsweek. It's all going to be Trump derangement bullshit. Let's get into more Trump news. Speaking of things that have been said that Trump's going to do that have had to be walked back by the administration, Trump has said he's not considering pardoning Derek Chauvin. Trump shot down speculation Friday that he might pardon former Minneapolis cop Derek Chauvin, whose 2020 quote-unquote murder of George Floyd unleashed protests and rioting nationwide after conservative media personality Ben Shapiro urged him to do so. No, I haven't even heard about it. I haven't even heard of that, Trump told reporters. Okay, I don't need a whole history of Floyd and Chauvin here. Chauvin, who's serving a 22.5-year state prison sentence and a 21-year federal sentence after pleading guilty to violating the rights, was unable to get a fair trial due to the massive public interest in the case and cited alternative theories for Floyd's cause of death, argued Shapiro. Yeah, and here's the important part. Trump only has the power to pardon Chauvin on the federal charges, meaning he would not be released from prison. He would have to go to a state prison. And again, he was high on fentanyl, had a pre-existing heart condition, Shapiro said. Floyd was saying he could not breathe before he was even out of the car. He was in the car saying he couldn't breathe. Hey, we got Sanglan86 giving us the otter over there on Rumble. Cheers and welcome. Good seeing you. The idea of a pardon for Chauvin could trigger further unrest, which was divisive among Trump supporters. Rob Smith, a prominent black Trump supporter affiliated with Turning Point, slammed Shapiro's suggestion, saying it's absolutely divisive. It makes no sense. Why did Ben Shapiro want to start this conversation now, he asked. Who does this benefit? It doesn't benefit Trump, America, race relations. It doesn't benefit anything. And it doesn't even benefit Derek Chauvin, who wouldn't even get out of prison because he'd have to go to a state prison. Yeah, Groiper says, tiny hat rat. I mean, the hat's getting bigger, though. I don't know if you saw the clip, the Nick Fuentes clip, where Nick Fuentes was talking about this. He's like, oh, did you see the hat's getting bigger? I thought it was funny. I'm not a big fan of Nick Fuentes, but hey, it is what it is. CBS moves. This is from Axios, so this is going to be horrible. Especially look at this Sarah Fisher person. Anyway, CBS moves to dismiss $20 billion Trump lawsuit. CBS Thursday filed 2 motions to dismiss an amended complaint to the lawsuit filed against it by Trump before he took office. CBS is under pressure to resolve its legal battle with the president as it awaits regulatory approval for a merger between its company Paramount and Skydance. The 2 motions were filed to dismiss an amendment to Trump's lawsuit filed against CBS last October. The original lawsuit in the U.S. District Court in the Northern District of Texas alleges CBS engaged in voter interference in its editing of a 60 Minutes interview with Kamala Harris. Trump originally sought $10 billion in damages. His amendment filed last month, he increased to $20 billion. CBS argues the case should be dismissed for a lack of personal and subject matter jurisdiction as well as improper venue. Alternatively, the broadcaster asked to transfer the case to the Southern District of New York. Of course. Of course. Yes, Candace is kicking Daily Wire square in the balls. Yeah, Candace is owning it. I mean, look, I don't watch Candace on a daily basis. I try to, get clips of a lot of different conservative media figures, and I'll catch them in little sound bites. But yeah, from what I can tell, she's way more relevant than anything that the Daily Wailing Wall's putting out. Cookie's distracted by a tall Texan. Okay. CBS argues that this lawsuit's an affront to the First Amendment and without basis in law or fact. Plaintiffs Trump and Representative Johnny Jackson, public officials at the highest ranks of our government, seek to punish a news organization for constitutionally protected editorial judgments they do not like. They not only ask for $20 billion in damages, but seek an order directing how a news organization may exercise its editorial judgment in the future. The First Amendment stands resolutely against these demands. The filing continues. Trump is committed to holding those who traffic in fake news, hoaxes, and lies to account. CBS and Paramount committed the worst kind of election interference and fraud in the closing days of the most important presidential election in history. President Trump will pursue this vital matter to its just and rightful conclusion, Trump attorney Ed Paltzik said in a statement to Axios. FCC Chairman Brandon Carr has opened an investigation into CBS whether the Harris interview editing situation that President Trump sued the network over. Okay. So yeah, CBS wants out of the lawsuit. And we have Trump administration canceling grants to Columbia University worth $400 million. Trump administration canceled $400 million in federal grants and contracts to Columbia, fulfilling one of Trump's campaign promises to remove funding from schools that failed to take action against anti-Semitism. I'm not a huge fan of this, but hey, fuck it, man. These far left-wing schools don't need the federal funding. This Friday announcement comes 2 days after dozens of anti-Israel protesters took over a library on Barnard College's campus, which is affiliated with Columbia University. Columbia and Barnard have seen some of the most intense anti-Israel protests since the October 7th, 2023 attack. Oh, and of course, this is cut off. Anyway, you get the point. You get the point. More, they made the little hat wearers angry, so we have to punish them. I don't like these kind of moves. Personally, I side on the side of free speech, but they did take over a library, and when you get to taking over buildings and interfering with university operations, yeah, you kind of got to punish those people. And if you're not going to punish those people, then yeah, I don't care what the topic is. You can't. You can't. It's kind of like what I was saying the other day about Trump's speech and what's his name, Al Green. You make a couple comments, that's one thing. Okay, Marjorie Taylor Greene just, she said, Laken Riley, say her name, and then she didn't say anything else. She didn't even get out of her seat. But Green, he was over there waving his cane, yelling, wouldn't sit down, and he got removed. So that man here says, I hope more grants get canceled like weird experiments. Yep. And then Groyper says, yeah, they taking over the building was retarded. And the school allowing it was dumb too. And newer divergent one says we need to deport the commies. Oh, look at this down here. This down in the gray where you can barely read it. Columbia University holds $5 billion in federal grant commitments. And a spokesperson said the school's working with the federal government to restore the funding. Fun times. Okay, so let's move on away from Trump a little bit. CDC plans expansive study into possible links between autism and vaccines. From the New York Post here. Now, look, I checked this story on both Google and Ground News, and the New York Post was one of only 3 news outlets that were covering this story that didn't have something about conspiracy theories or debunked or something in the title. Oh, and look at the first line here. Even in the face of thorough scientific research disproving their connection. I mean, they got to throw that in there. There's a reason we're having a study, folks. You can't call it debunked if we're still studying it. The science is never settled. Quit doing this, media. Anyway. Oh my God. It pisses me off when people say science is settled. Science is never settled. There's always room for more study. As we can tell by the transgender frogs and all the dumb bullshit we do that is already common sense. Centers for CDC launched an expansive study into possible links between vaccines and autism. I'm going to ignore the rest of that line there. It wasn't clear what role Bobby Kennedy Jr. may have had in the CDC's new plan, which was confirmed by 2 sources. Here we go again. 2 sources to Reuters. Reuters and their sources. Kennedy, an environmental lawyer, with no medical degree. Priscilla DeGregory, go fuck yourself. There's long touted skepticism about vaccines, suggesting there could be a tide rise in autism. At his confirmation hearing in January to head the Health and Human Services, Kennedy defended his prior statements on immunizations while hedging on the topic, claiming he wasn't against preventative shots. He was pressed on his views from politicians on both sides of the aisle during the hearings. If you show me the data, I'll be the first person to assure the American people they need to take those vaccines. Not only will I do that, but I will apologize for any statements that misled people otherwise. President Trump this week in his address to Congress raised the topic of the rise in autism in kids, saying, we're going to find out what it is, and there's nobody better than Bobby and all the people that are working for you, the commander-in-chief said of Kennedy. RFK oversees an important federal public health benefit programs like Medicare. Okay, who gives a shit? Claims of the connections have their origins in a theory by researcher Andrew Wakefield, who claimed the MMR shot led to autism. Okay, folks, this is surface level shit. The Wakefield studies, I mean, look, there were errors, but they weren't completely debunked. At least not by a lot of people's standards. Feel free to do your own research into what happened with Andrew Wakefield and what other families are saying happened to their children. But definitely consult your own position and make your own decision based on your family's medical advice, from your medical professionals that you trust. All right, we're going to do a couple of personal interest stories, and then we'll get into the love, don't judge. First off, folks, you remember there were some years ago where this video game came out, and all the kids loved this video game called Slender Man. And then there was sort of a trend of people dressing up like Slender Man and going around scaring people or going around committing acts of violence. Well, one of these people who was doing the crazy stuff was this woman, Morgan Geyser. in Waukesha County, Wisconsin. And now a Wisconsin judge has refused to block the release from a psychiatric hospital. So there's been a lot of talk about whether or not this person should be released from a hospital after stabbing people. A Wisconsin judge on Thursday refused to block a psychiatric hospital from releasing a woman who stabbed her sixth grade classmate to please a horror character called Slender Man more than a decade ago, after prosecutors alleged she has been quietly reading gory novels and communicating with a man who collects memorabilia from murders. Morgan Geyser has spent the last 7 years at the Winnebago Mental Health Institute. Waukesha County Circuit Judge Michael Boren in January ordered her released after state and county health officials completed a community supervision and housing plan. Boren was set to review the plan at a February 28th hearing, but prosecutors never presented it to him, instead asking him to revoke her release. Deputy District Attorney Abby Nicoli alleged during a follow-up hearing that Geyser, now 22, didn't tell her treatment team that she's been reading novels about murder and the sale of human organs on the black market. She also didn't inform the treatment team that she's been communicating with a man who collects murder memorabilia, allowing him to visit her and sending him artwork of a violent nature, Nicoli told the judge. Geyser's attorney, Tony Cotton, countered that Geyser only reads the books the facility makes available to her, and the hospital officials track all her communications. Well, is that going to continue upon the release? She told her treatment team about the books and communications when asked, adding that she can't have violated any conditions of release because conditions haven't been set. Boren said the revocation request lacked substance and he didn't believe Geyser was intentionally trying to hide anything. I don't see the risk to the public, the judge said. Doesn't see the risk to the public when she's obviously obsessed with murder and playing into other people who are obsessed with murder. Oh. She's asked the judge for a conditional release 4 times since June of 2022. She withdrew her first 2. The judge denied her third request in April of last year, finding she was still a threat. She filed her latest request in October, and the judge granted it in January after 3 psychologists testified she's made progress with her coping skills and emotional control and doesn't retreat into fantasy as often. One of the psychologists, Kent Robbins, warned that Geyser could become dangerous if she remains at Winnebago and loses hope. Prosecutors countered that Geyser couldn't be trusted, pointing to how she claimed during evaluations last year that she really attacked Leutner as a way of escaping her abusive father rather than to please Slender Man. They implied she was lying in hopes of increasing the odds she'd be released. Boren ultimately found Geyser had maximized her treatment at Winnebago, and to be truly rehabilitated, she has to join society. Weyer pleaded guilty to being a party to attempted second-degree intentional homicide with a dangerous weapon in 2017, but like Geyser, claimed she wasn't responsible due to mental illness. She was committed to 25 years in a mental hospital, but granted release in 2021. Who's Weyer? I skipped a... Oh, Geyser and her friend lured Peyton Leutner to Waukesha Park after a sleepover. Geyser stabbed Leutner 19 times while Weyer egged her on. They left her for dead, but she crawled out of the woods and got help from a bicyclist. They were all 12 years old. All right. They attacked her to earn the right to be Slender Man's servants and ensure Slender Man didn't hurt them or her families. Okay, so still not banned here says good. Rusty River says release her into a prison. And yeah, do that. Still not banned here. But again, the idea is that would make her lose hope and she'd get violent with the other prisoners. Okay, folks, one more personal interest story, and then we'll get to the Love Don't Judge, which is going to be great. You guys are going to love it, especially Cookie. Cookie's going to love Don't Judge. Oh, wait. I'm not showing any viewers on YouTube. Maybe Cookie left. Maybe, let me hit my vape. That was a lot of talking. Okay, so I was hesitant to do this next story because I wonder sometimes, like, if I do a bunch of stories that's like Kansas City based, I wonder how entertaining it is for my audience. But this next story is getting a little national play here. Hey, neurodivergent one and great liquor showing the American flag. Yeah, hell yeah, go USA. But anyway, so I figured this story could be something to talk about a little bit on the show here. I won't I won't linger on it for long. But you have Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Xavier Worthy arrested on domestic violence charges in Texas. Worthy arrested in Georgetown, charged with assaulting against a family member or household member, impeding their breathing or circulation. Worthy's attorneys told CNN they're aware of the allegations of their client and maintain his innocence. We will continue to cooperate with the Williamson County authorities and have full faith that their thorough investigation will support Mr. Worthy's innocence. The Chiefs said they are aware and gathering information, while the NFL wrote, "We're aware of the matter and have been in contact with the club," the local team. Worthy was drafted out of University of Texas Austin in the first round of the NFL draft in 2024. Parts of Austin, Texas, and Williamson County. His rookie season, Worthy led Kansas City's receivers in catches and touchdowns. In the Super Bowl loss to the Philadelphia Eagles, Worthy caught 8 passes for 157 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, yeah, Kansas City Chiefs like to choke a bitch. Kansas City Chiefs like to choke a bitch. So, folks, how many out there, I mean, I'm sure a lot of you in the chat right now have been sort of longer term. I mean, Rusty Rivers is a little newer. You've been here a while. But those of you who've been long-term viewers of the show, we've been doing Love Don't Judge. As we call it here, Love Does Admonish. Because even though you don't want to be judged, that doesn't mean you're free from getting admonished here. So we'll put the Love Does Admonish right there. Right there. Love Does Admonish. We'll put the logo there. So yeah, even though you don't like to be judged, sometimes your own behavior deserves some admonishment. But we did one of these, God, a year and a half ago, where there was a woman with dwarfism. So if you're new to the show, by the way, Love Does Admonish, there's this YouTube channel called Love Don't Judge. They highlight relationships with interesting twists and the ways in which they receive hate from the internet. And we here at Miles Culture Plate like to look at it and say, hey, did you invite some of that hate yourself? Is there something you could be doing differently? Do you deserve some of this criticism? And, but like I said, we did one of these, a long time ago that it was this young woman with dwarfism. She's a very tiny woman, and she was in a relationship with a coworker at the strip club, another stripper. She and the other stripper had fallen in love and wanted to get married. Let's go ahead and see that on screen. So here's the video I'm talking about. She's not my child, she's my fiance. And they showed them, shopping for wedding dresses and all this. So this week, Love Don't Judge has put out a new episode that is a sequel to this episode. So let's get into it, folks. Me and my tiny fiance are having a baby with my manager. Love Don't Judge.
I'm Tiny Sexy.
I am Anna Graves. We're going to be expanding our family, and we decided to do it with our manager, Cam.
It feels good to say, actually, we're all in a relationship together.
My family is
We're all in a relationship, and the family's disowned him.
A lot of people felt like they were being betrayed.
How did you feel when he told you about the throuple?
It's
Well,
a throuple.
taken back at first, I guess. You know, not your everyday relationship.
Hi everyone, I'm Tiny Sexy, and we are back with Love Don't Judge with a little surprise.
We're going to be expanding our family, and we decided to do it with our manager, Cam.
We've been talking about this for a while.
So he works at the strip club
as
too.
y'all know, we were engaged, and we still are. I have a beautiful daughter. She just
Wait,
turned 11.
still are? You haven't gotten married yet? You were dress shopping like a year and a half ago. What the fuck? Hang on, wait a minute. Let me bring this off screen for just a second and bring up the other video. How long ago was that actually? Yeah, it was a year ago. Oh, you can't see it because my head's in the way. Let me scroll down a little bit. What the hell? Oh, yeah. Oh, that's because I got the other one still. Yeah, here we go. 1 year ago. I mean, I guess some people are engaged for like 2, 3, even 4 years, but I mean, come on, y'all are strippers. You don't seem like the kind of people who just, you know, make long-term decisions like that and actually, you know, take a long time to actually do it right. Gray liquor, they got to grift it as long as they can. Yeah.
And we think it's time to expand our family. We said, why not, you know, talk to Cam about it? And we sat him down and said, hey, we can.
Oh, wait, that's it. She got knocked up by the manager and then couldn't fit in the wedding dresses they bought and thought, hey, this is an opportunity to make some more money. Hey, bang, bingo, bango, got to grift it.
We want a baby. And he's like, that's great. And I was like, but we want you to help.
I was really taken off on a shock, really. Like, we want to make a baby with you. And I was like, whoa.
Sexy and I have been together now about 7 years. I would say Cam joined the relationship in 23, around April.
We never put a label on it because it just happened. And now
We
it
never
feels
put
good
a
to
label.
say, actually, we're all in a relationship together.
It took everybody for a shock. It was like, what is going on here?
For
Bro,
us, it just felt so
bro,
natural.
run.
It felt a lot nicer
run.
than sitting in a clinic looking at a catalog of different donors. It was nicer to know who this person already was.
My family has disowned me because I chose to do a throuple. My friends and employees have left because they believed they couldn't be a part.
Employees. Now, mind you, these people work together. He's the boss. Employees have quit because of these people fucking. And what the fuck is up with Texie's makeup in this photo? Oh my God, she looks like a goblin. She looks like one of the goblins I've been fighting on Baldur's Gate on my gaming streams. I mean, I'm not making a short person joke. It's the makeup is that bad.
Part of the situation. This is my favorite because people always say that I'm money hungry. I'm always about the money. And it's like world's cutest tax deduction. Now tell me
I'm going to go
that's
ahead and
not,
do the mom tap
tell me,
foot on that
tell
one.
me that's not amazing. Like the things that just go through my head.
Yeah, but it's not going to be a tax deduction when they kick you out of the kid's life. They're going to be getting the fucking child tax credit and you're going to be fucked.
So I think we're expecting June, July-ish. Well, I took a test with her and it came up positive.
I had a sense, I had a feeling, I already knew it was going to be positive. With the complications I had with my daughter, there was a time and point that I did not almost make it. I just think...
Oh yeah, the little one already has a daughter. And so now this one's, the bigger one is pregnant with this guy's kid.
I needed to be the bigger person and let her carry the child. With my body frame and how I'm built, from how people like to say I look like a child. We have learned, you know, to overcome a lot of those obstacles. So I said, why not? You know, people are going to hate no matter what. As long as I have a family, I really don't care about anybody else on the outside because on the inside, it's way better. We like to keep our circle very
God, her
tight,
mannerisms.
very small because the judgment
no.
we go through.
Oh,
a lot
no.
of people felt like they were being betrayed, especially close friends of ours, because they're like, well, why weren't we were the first ones to know?
Yeah,
And it's like, it's not really something
small.
that we want to just put out there right away.
Everything we do anyway is under a microscope.
Exactly.
Under a
Great
microscope,
energy,
only
great
when
energy,
you put it
louder,
out there.
happy.
Like you could
3,
have privacy.
2, and 1.
Hi guys, it's I Am Anna Graves and
Tiny Taxi.
we have
Everything we do is under a microscope, so let's point a camera at ourselves.
a couple big announcements for you guys. So the first one is we've been in a secret partnership with my boss Cam.
Yes. And the second thing is we are expecting a beautiful baby.
And oh my God,
That's
if
right.
you're making
Stay
content,
tuned and follow us for more.
let me say, if you're making content and you look, I'm guilty of this, but usually when we're playing video, I try to save it for when I'm playing videos, but like banging on the, like minimize that shit. I'm sorry to my audience right now for making all that fucking noise, but you banging on the fucking table or banging against the microphone. So again, sorry to the audience. Sorry for your ears, but Jesus Christ. I mean, is this, if you have tits, does that mean you could just throw away all the fucking rules of making content?
More. We just recorded a social media post.
I mean, listen to that table. Hang on.
That's right. Stay tuned and follow us for more. We just recorded a social media post that revealing that we are expecting a baby and that we're in a throuple.
We get a huge wave of judgment, which is something that we experience quite often, especially in our relationship. And with the throuple being kind of a new announcement, especially the baby being a new announcement, we're going to be open for a lot of judgment.
I get a lot of the judgment.
We're open for judgment. Now we're open.
How can you love or how can you care about someone like her? And I say, what do you mean? She's just a regular person.
I want people to see me as
You
a
are
wife,
fake
a
news.
mother, a friend. So you put the baby here. You put this in the sink or the tub.
It's a bathtub thing.
Yes. It's a
You
big
don't
one.
ever submerge the child. So you
Yeah,
put
no,
them-
I know that.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. My boss Cam is not giving any baths.
No, she's not. No.
I believe that I am going to be a great support system for them when it comes to this throuple and the baby on the way.
They say it takes a village, and we have a village
Hey,
prepared. I
Cookie
mean,
came back. Cookie, I figured you'd like this. We have a stripper lesbian throuple. Well, you got the lesbians and their boss. Their boss at the strip club, and they're having a baby. The three of them are having a baby. You got lesbian stripper midget and other lesbian having a baby with their stripper boss. Or their strip club owning boss.
That was one of the things that we all worried about was, who's going to spend more time or are we going to have any
still
time?
not banned here. Yeah, the drama, their choice. Yeah, their choices brings more drama than any of the hate they're complaining about. That's kind of the point that we do the Love Does Admonish segment. Because yeah, it's a lot of the times it's your behavior more than just random hate on the internet.
And I think it's great that I'd rather her be home for him to go to work. Me, I go to my shows, do my work.
Neurodivergent one, I'm working on it. Hopefully my Monday Rumble exclusive shows can drag some of these folks from YouTube over to Rumble. I did notice, Still Life, when Still Life stops by, it's been more on Rumble lately. He used to only come around on YouTube, and he's been coming around on Rumble more. Cookie wants to come on and talk. Here, Cookie, let me get this link. Instead of you coming on, if you want to leave a message, you can leave a video voicemail now. They have that feature on Rumble Studio. So let me do this. And I will send this over to YouTube. There you go. Just click that link over on YouTube that I just sent to YouTube here. Oh, well, I guess it's going to show on the damn screen. Anyway, I guess I could send it to Rumble too. Yeah, if anybody wants to send a video voicemail, we can do that real quick. It didn't show up on the YouTube chat. Sometimes it lags here. Let me type the word lag and see if it shows up. Anyway, let's go back to this dude.
provide what I need to provide financially as well.
I would call myself the house mom. It's kind of a natural
there it
role
is.
that I play already, especially with Texie going on the road for work. We have an 11-year-old daughter, so it's very natural for me to stay home. So it doesn't make any change in our plan. We're just expecting another human.
Our child's going to have a better advantage because we're able to provide them a talent or skill that we each have from 3 different parents instead of just 2.
We are our own support system. I have grown to
What
love
talent?
my family.
2 of
a
you
lot
are
more than
strippers.
I am connected to my biological family. I really care about this family that we've created.
I'd say 5 or 6 months since I've known we wanted to expose the throuple relationship even before the baby. I've removed a lot of people that were negative or didn't agree with what I wanted to do. But there was one person that just stood by me and said, listen, I'm pro baby. So Brandon, I'm gonna bring Brandon on.
Pro baby. Oh, here comes Brandon. Now, does this guy work at the
Thank
strip
you.
club too?
How did
Is
you
this the
feel when he
bouncer?
told you about the throuple?
Well, taken back at first, I guess, not your everyday relationship.
Me coming out with that now, do you feel like work is different? Do you feel like our friendship is different or communication is different?
I mean, different in a good way. I mean, you're more open.
We're able to hang out more. Prepare me to be in dadhood.
Okay, so this is scary to me. My brain sees this. It's like these 2 are about to get married. And that's your baby there, dude. Like, our courts are set up for 2-parent households right now, which means the 2 parents have all the fucking rights. And you could quickly find yourself on the outskirts of that situation.
Newborn baby's a lot to deal with. I mean, I got 6 months old.
Neurodivergent one wants to know which one works at the strip club. Yes, all of these people work at the strip club.
Twins at home. Can't just get up and go and do whatever you want. Now you got to stop and think.
Well, I don't know
can I
about
take
the
a
fat
baby?
guy. I don't know if he works at the
who's
strip
gonna watch
club.
the
I
baby?
assume he does.
What would you say you expect the worst out of our throuple and this baby coming?
Everybody can work together. It'd be a stronger team to raise the child. So honestly, it's hard
together
for me in a sense because being separated from 2 of my children's mothers. So we all have to work together separately.
Yeah, see, this guy's been separated twice now.
So, with you guys,
From
it's a
his
united
kids.
front.
I mean, I told him there are going to be times, we're all going to be stressed out, tired. But I think, if she's exhausted, I'll be there to help take care of the baby.
Absolutely. I say it's amazing just having 2 people.
Nicholas says the short one looks like she's 12. Well, that was like the first episode. They're like, yeah, everyone thinks I'm a kid. But watching this, look how awful her makeup is. I think she looks more like she's 50. I think she looks more like a goblin. I think she looks more like something you'd see on Baldur's Gate. I don't think she looks like she's 12 at all.
Raise a child. So to have 3.
I'm gonna regret saying this, but one can only imagine what she looks like naked. I mean, she's already given birth to 1 child.
I think it'll be awesome.
What I love about Texie and Anna is they accept my flaws.
I think the biggest thing I love about Texie is the fact that she's so ambitious. She's
A tiny Madonna.
so strong,
Yes.
and I love you a lot.
Rusty Rivers, you're great.
Something that I love
man.
about Cam is he gives us the strength that we need to push forward. I can't imagine myself having a family with anybody but you guys.
And the number one thing I love about Anna is with her, I get not just
but you
the
imagined it
motherly
without
love,
him
but
a
I
year
get
ago.
the
What the
cheerleader
fuck?
in the background. Now here we are having a baby, and I could not ask a better man to do it with.
One of the biggest things why we get on this TV show for Love Don't Judge, and we don't want you to judge our love. The people that come from Love Don't Judge to communicate with us afterwards with the positivity, the uplifting
I'm
approach,
totally
and
judging.
telling us what we could do better is all we want to see.
Dude. Oh my God. I'm totally judging. As a father who's lost access to his children multiple times throughout my life. I mean, this is risky shit to be playing with. I mean, look, I've given a lot of talks about polyamory and my beliefs in polyamory and this and that, but when you're playing games with your legal rights to your children, and you're creating children in these environments with the understanding that Like, these two are an existing, established thing that they're gonna move forward with their rights, and they're part of the family at a faster pace than I'm going to be included. But let me do the most important step. You know, again, I hate to get Christian conservative on this shit, but there's a reason Christian conservatives put marriage before baby. It's because you have to have a foundation. At least when you're talking about government and lawyers and legal, you have to have the legal framework foundation before you start inserting children, in this culture anyway. With the legal landscape we have. Cookie said she followed the link. Okay, well, did you make a submission? No submissions. Yeah. Leave a video voicemail. We're not going to do a whole bring you on segment. I can't do that today. You want to come on Monday on the Rumble exclusive? I'll bring you on Monday on the Rumble exclusive. I already kind of got a topic in mind that, might not be great for that, but we could take a little side segment on the Monday Rumble exclusive. I can bring you on then. I literally don't have time now. The chicks are not married. They are engaged. They have been engaged for over a year. That was the last episode. This is actually a sequel. This is one of the few Love Don't Judge sequels. They did this episode a year ago. She's Not My Child, She's My Fiance. A year ago, they did this where they were shopping for wedding dresses and shit. So they're engaged, and they were planning the wedding then, but now she's pregnant. And so, yeah, I guess it's been delayed. The wedding's been delayed while they get knocked up with their boss's baby. So yeah, they're not married yet, but they're getting married. So they're going to have this legal foundation once they get married that he's not going to have. And I'm sorry, that's too risky. It's too risky for them to throw, like, if I'm in that situation, too risky to throw me away and keep my kid. Yeah, Sangline 86 says, my Bible doesn't require a ceremony to be married. And then Neurodivergent one says his rights should be fine if he's really the father. I mean, I don't think so. I really don't. Because he's like the third member of a household. I see a situation where they got what they want. They can throw him aside at any time. He needs to be married to one of these people. Cookie says it's racism and sexism. No, I gave you an opportunity. If you want to talk about something, you want to bring something up, I gave you a place to leave a video voicemail, a short clip that we could address in a short amount of time, but I literally have to wrap this show up and go eat dinner. I don't have time to bring a full guest on and have a conversation, Cookie. So anywho, yeah, milk him for child support. Yeah, that's the concern. Yeah, even release forms at school. Yeah, see, look, I'm not a hater for just the generic concept of polyamory. I mean, it's dangerous. Careful what you're doing. I don't advise it. Don't do it. But like, if you're gonna do it, like, understand what these fucking laws will do to you. Understand what your own partners that you're choosing can do to you by using the government. It's scary shit. And this guy's like, oh, hey, I got to have a threesome with a midget. Hey, we all work at a strip club. Cookie Gray Ligger says, wow, pulls the race card. Cookie's just joking. Cookie's just joking about the racism. We got Demon's Wrath over on Rumble saying, hey, what's up, y'all? What's up? We're about to wrap up there, Demon's Wrath. Let's see. Let's do I love refrigerators.
I love refrigerators.
Yep. Love refrigerators, and we love Demon's Wrath. Anyway, so my advice to these three lovebirds and their coming child they're welcoming of their coming child, is this. Is it going to play?
Shut the fuck up! Say Christ is Lord. Say Christ is Lord.
Okay. Anyway, that's that. Folks, I should be potentially doing a gaming stream tomorrow. No, I can't commit to it, but I was really frustrated today. I was yelling at my computer. I was mad. And there are NPCs in the game that I need to take revenge on, and I'm going to do it by getting a bunch of level up. I'm going to level up and just start slaughtering shit in Baldur's Gate. So if you've been following my Baldur's Gate progress, I may do a stream tomorrow. If not, it may not be till Thursday. I do have some plans that have come up for Tuesday night, so I'm probably not going to be able to do a stream Tuesday night. I might be able to, but it'd be really short. And if I do a stream tomorrow, it might be really short because I have a lot of errands to take care of. So, gaming channel, follow me on my gaming channel if you're interested in watching a Dungeons and Dragons newbie get frustrated by kicking his own ass at Baldur's Gate. You can call me a failure from all the things I fail. So yeah, the links to my gaming channels are down in the description. Links to all my social media is also down in the description. I try when I can to post to X that I'm going to be going live, and of course, come back here every Wednesday and Saturday. So this upcoming Wednesday, 6 p.m. Central, same bat time, same bat channel, and now we have added yet another Miles Culture Plate. If you are a Rumble Premium subscriber, we have added a Miles Culture Plate every Monday, exclusively for Rumble Premium members. 6 p.m. Central every Monday. Shut Up I Can Cook wants to know what state Great Liquor lives in. Well, I think earlier you were talking Arizona, right? He said his state didn't participate in the daylight savings time madness. So I'm assuming either Arizona or Hawaii. Yep, Arizona. Boom! I called it. All right, folks. So yeah, big shout out to everyone watching. I forget to do this sometime, but yeah, shout out to everyone who showed up and said hi. Cheers to you all, and I don't enough give a shout out to those of you who watch on demand later and give your thumbs up and please leave comments down in the comment section. I know not all of you can just be here at 6 p.m. Central every fucking time, and I know there's some of you who do watch me later and participate in all the love, and I for that I appreciate you. Cheers and thank you. And that's for you folks. So yeah, please click that thumbs up, just as Neurodivergent One had said a few times throughout the show. Yeah, click that thumbs up. Thumbs up really helps. Feel free to share this off platform. Let people know, hey man, I participate in this real funny thing every Wednesday and Saturday. This guy, he's kind of dumb, but he talks about some funny stuff sometimes and really gets on board with the conservative and libertarian values. Anyway, I don't know. Explain however you want to explain it. Don't follow my explanation because I can't explain myself. But yeah, feel free to share this off platform. Let other people know we're here. And let's see, what's the other thing? Oh yeah, if you're new here, please click that follow button. Feel free to do that. And yeah, all my social media information down in the description. Yes, so all y'all take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Outlast those haters. Don't get any on you. And if you do, rub that shit in real good. Have a wonderful weekend and happy Women's Day, everybody. Good night.